I have a question for you. Has your business done as well as you liked in 2024? And then I have a second question, which is, are you frustrated with social media? Listen, I was feeling this way this year. I was stuck with my social media. I was doing all the things. I was watching all the different people telling me what to do, and I was stuck. And then I started to work with Karim, and I'm bringing him into my business because I want you to have what I have, which is a clear plan to understand your brand story, and a plan for social media, and a way to execute that under his guidance and working with me about how to do that in your business. We're offering a 3-hour live course in the new year. And if you want to have a plan for next year, you should join us. So Karim, tell us a little bit more about you.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, I'm Karim Abdel Kodos. I've been working in communications, marketing, and PR for 10 years. I've worked in telecom, real estate, and many other industries. And right now I have 2 companies, one for digital marketing services, and the other one is a PR and media firm where we produce original content for as branded content for clients, etc. So PR and communications, this is the main thing.
Yeah, what I really see is that you are an expert in understanding what a business is and what they want to do, and then creating a message and a perception of them that works.
100%.
Great. And we're combining that with me as a business coach who helps people build their businesses and be the people who can do it. So we're going to be working together to create this course. We're also doing social media reviews to help people feel better that they're going to have a plan on how to do this, and a plan that's going to work to help them sell more to the right people.
100%, along with establishing their brands.
Yeah. The thing I'm excited about is right now, most of your clients are multi-million-dollar companies. And to take that skill, the data, and your brain that's doing all of this and apply it for entrepreneurs. So how do you feel like that can translate?
I believe branded content, which is the most effective modern tool for marketing, is applicable on all business levels and can be utilized and used in the best possible way by a fresh business or a very well established business. So it's a great tool to utilize in use, and I think this is what we're going to be talking about today and how it can be reflecting on your business objectives.
Yep. Great. Let's go. Is that what I'm noticing, and why I wanted to talk to you is that with my clients, everyone is doing the thing, they're following the systems. There's so many accounts about what to do with social media, and nobody's selling at the rate that they want to. And I think the big issue is that people aren't actually communicating what they want to communicate. Like, we have this idea of like, this is who I am and this is what I'm saying, but that's not what's happening, which means that there's something off with the brand. So what's a brand?
Okay, I can tell you really quickly what is a brand and then reflect on what you were saying, because a brand is brand is perception, right? How people are perceiving your brand, and this is what you build among time. So a brand is not just visuals or a logo for your business. It's not like this. It's the brand story that you're communicating with the public, and the brand values that you're integrating within your content or any communications form. And then all of this build how people are perceiving you as a business. And
Right.
This is brand that you build over time. Let me go back to what you were saying, Lisa, about people they think they're doing everything right, but it's not getting the result that they're looking up to.
Mm-hmm.
Because like all the content that we see from big brands or big people or people representing their brands has a lot behind it. It's not just this engaging. Yeah, exactly. And a learning curve, of course, but not just engaging content that this reel is amazing. It has all this engagement. Like, it has strategy and a learning curve that they're building over time to reach this point. So as long as we're aware of this, we can be building it, and we can be on the way definitely to reach this.
Yeah. And So it's interesting. You're like, it's perception. When somebody says, like, you take a very large brand, Lexus, Mercedes, Coca-Cola, whatever, you think something. And that's what you're talking about. And in the short run, like, what's changed now is that with social media, when I open your Instagram page, because people are going to your Instagram or your LinkedIn before they look at your website, and they see something that gives an impression and they start to create the brand. So like you're saying, it takes years of consistency. But, you know, if I walked into the Lexus dealership and there was like trash on the ground, and I'm not saying anybody's Instagram looks like trash, but a lot of them aren't great, or the last post was 2 years ago, then I immediately get an impression. Do I want to do this with someone? So we need to be creating, in how we're showing up, a very consistent impression, idea of who we are. Yeah?
Exactly. And it comes with using social media or utilizing social media to reflect your brand and to reflect your product or service that you're introducing to people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's obvious that social media, we have no choice but using and utilizing social media in the best possible way, because it's the main medium where people look right now. And it's out of question that social media cannot be separated from how you market your brand.
Yeah. And so what I also see a lot of people doing is that their social media is like, this is what I'm selling. This is what I'm selling. This is what I'm selling. Buy this, buy this, buy this. What's wrong with that?
Because like, once the public feels that you're selling them something, they're going to turn away.
Yeah, because that's the impression.
Exactly. Like, the real thing is to introduce this branded content that is engaging and interesting for people, even if they're not buying your product or service right now. But you build a connection with them. So by building this connection, you're making your brand top of mind when they think about the product or service that they need, and you're providing it. They're going to think about you right away, because you've built this emotional connection through engaging content that can be interesting and appealing for them without directly selling them anything.
Yeah. Because what we're talking about, and what I think is interesting, is you're working with larger brands, larger companies, and helping them create this story. And when you were telling me about what you did, I was like, oh, I want to know how to do this for... I work with solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, smaller businesses. So the first thing you do is like decide what the brand is. Like, if I'm like, okay, I'm already busy, I have to sell this stuff, where do I start?
Asking yourself, what's my brand story? And if there isn't one, you need to create one.
What's brand story mean?
Brand story sometimes can be why I created this brand. Maybe someone felt like a situation happened to him and he felt the need for this product or service, and he didn't find anyone who's providing it, so he decided to do it himself.
What's my brand story?
As Lisa?
Yeah.
You know it better than me. Like Lisa.
But what, like, if I came to you and you're like, what's your brand story? And I'd be like, I'm good at helping people at this, so I started doing it. Like, how do I come up with the story?
You actually have a brand story, because yeah, exactly, because like all what you went through in your career, and starting with doing this and then this and then this, and then with the studio, feeling this passion to help people or teach them something that reflects on their lives in a positive way, and then taking this to the next level by business coaching them or life coaching them. So that's a brand story, because it came from something that you really felt, and you felt the passion to do, and you loved this feeling of impact you're leaving on people. So this can be a brand story. It's a strong brand story, actually. So whoever doesn't have a brand story, he can be creating a brand story for himself. And there's always a story, but it's about how to tell it, you know?
Yeah. You said something interesting, which is when I'm talking about me, is like, you have to integrate yourself. I see a lot of people trying to sell to everyone. So they'll be like, I teach Pilates. And I'll be like, to who? And they'll be like, to everyone. I can help everyone. And I'm like, that's never going to work. It never works to try to help everyone. So you have to put yourself, because there's like an intersection of you and the people that you help. Correct?
Sure. And this is going to take us to the question you just asked. Where do we start? So we start with the brand story, and then portraying my clientele? Who am I targeting? And who am I targeting comes from the service or the product that I'm selling. What's the price point for it? Who's capable of buying it? Who wants it? Is it a need or a luxury thing? All these questions can help me draw the persona of my clientele. And sometimes it's like describing a person. Like my client is a male or female, 30 years old, who's a banker, who's like to this detail.
Yeah.
And when you draw this and you have like specific people that you're seeing in front of you, this is how you draw the persona for your brand and for your clientele.
So let's go back. Because sometimes when we're like, tell me your brand story, people are like, or it sounds too much like everything. Like it's like you put a bunch of marketing words on a piece of paper. So the things you just said are like, who are you? Why did you start this? Who is this for? And who is this not for? Would you add any other questions to that?
This sums up the fundamentals that needs to be there to take any further step and to start talking about content or how you utilize social media, etc.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's important to not have it be like, I do this, I do that. And it's like a robot, right?
Once people feel it's something that is written by an agency or it's a branding thing that is done within the branding project, like people feel this.
Yeah.
And people get attracted to real brand stories. And there are real brand stories in each and every brand, but maybe the thing is how to portray it, how to say it in words, how to place them in words that is genuine and relatable to the public. For example, a photographer, he is a photographer for a reason. Something triggered his passion to photography. This is a brand story, how it's being told, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for a small business where it's 1 or 3 people, like you have to make it about yourself. You have to be willing to be a little bit vulnerable and be like, here's why I did it. Here's how I got hurt. Here's how I moved past something, but also without it getting too personal, because then it gets weird. But but the thing I always talk about, like you have on glasses right now, like say it through the glasses of your customer. So like the customer doesn't care about, oh, this thing that happened to me 26 years ago, but they do care about how I can make the transformation for them. So I always think, here's my ideal customer and here's me. Where's the overlap?
Yeah, but if we're talking about social media, how to utilize content and the benefit of the business doesn't always have to be directly to the customer that is potential to buy your service or product right now. It doesn't have to be.
Okay.
Because the more you're relatable to more audience around, like we have a focus, like a center point where my clientele is. I need to widen it around my clientele related potential client, but not today, in 3 years, in 5 years. He's an undergrad now, he's going to need this in 5 years, but I'm already building the connection with him because he is a potential. He's going to relate to this. Also because when you are generating content that is related to your industry, but more generic, that is making it relatable to a wider audience, you gain this power on the social media that automatically reflects on the power of your brand. If you're the face of your brand, if you're representing your brand as a business,
right?
As a business owner, and you're representing it. So in this case, the more power you have on social media, the more credibility you gain for you and your business. And this doesn't only happen with direct clientele. Like for example, the audience on any brand, any famous brand, like Toyota, cars, Toyota or Lexus or Mercedes or watches, Rolex or whatever, are all followers of Rolex, potential customers who can go to the store and buy Rolex? Of course not.
Right.
But they're looking up to the brand because there is a brand story, there is a brand perception that they built over 100 years.
Okay, so step 1, create your brand story. Answer those questions. Step 2, figure out who this ideal customer is. But step 3 is to think about the ideal customer and then expand, probably a little bit backwards and a little bit forwards, a little bit up and a little bit down, and talk to all of them. And also, if I'm attracting more people to my content, more eyes begets more eyes because of algorithms. and more eyes make me look, it's more followers, more. So I think about my ideal customer and then I expand and I think, what can I say that speaks to all of them?
Yes.
And then what do I do?
Can I reflect on this?
Yeah.
On what you actually do as Lisa Zahiya? Because, like, for example, you can be, and you're doing this already, but I mean, talking to people in a more generic way about stuff to do to make their lives easier when they work, how to improve their businesses in general, how to do to be a more capable business as a, what to do to be more capable as an entrepreneur, you know, all this doesn't mean that the person who engages with your content or likes your content can be a potential client tomorrow, but you're creating this audience that is loyal to you, that shares your content, that engage with your content, so that you have this very, very representable social media accounts that helps you once a potential customer checks your account. This is how it goes.
Yeah. And you helped me with that because I used to have content that was extremely specific because I'm aiming for a experienced or more mature business owner. So I'd be like, EBITDA, like the balance sheet should look like this. And you were like, stop, it's too specific. And I was probably losing people. So like expanding it. So I think about the magnet being big. Okay. Then what do? I'm like, okay, I've written it all down. What then? Then
plan your content calendar.
There's always a plan.
Definitely.
That's what you're talking about. Those large companies aren't just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yes. Or even not even big companies. I mean, influential people on social media who are reflecting their brands, their personal brands. It always starts with a strategy. Like after knowing who I am, what's my brand, what are my brand values, who am I targeting, then now, okay, what am I communicating to attract people? So this comes with defining the messages that I want to be communicating, and the messages doesn't have to be said like clearly, but what are the messages behind my content? And based on this, start crafting content in different forms. We can be talking about this until tomorrow because, you know, each platform has best practices and all this. But I mean, planning your content from the messages that you know you want to communicate, and then start implementing it through real content that you post.
Yeah.
You need to be consistent. You need to be relevant to a wider audience. You need to be interesting, and people can learn this because like you post content and then you know what's engaging, what's not, what people engage with, what people like. And then this can be the learning curve that you get along the way so that you give your audience what they like more in a way that benefits you at the end.
Sure. And you said a couple of really important things. So the first one is consistency. Like great brands, people who are selling well, don't post once in a while when they feel like it, when they're in a good mood, when nothing's going on in their life, because that's never true, or when they're selling something.
Yes. And it gets much easier if it's planned.
Yeah. And you can make it all. Like I've been posting from months ago. You know, like have a day, get someone, do it, make sure it's good enough quality, because I think that this is a good place to point out something you've really helped me with is like, is there trash in my car dealership? There was some, right? Like clean it up a little bit.
And when you have all this prepared and you have your content calendar ahead and you have your content that you know when are you posting and everything, and you're consistent, maybe you can clear your mind to make it even better. If something is happening generally and is relatable to your work, you can be commenting on it through a story, through a reel. That can be an exception, but you have a clear mind for this. You're not always trapped into what am I posting next? What am I posting tomorrow? It's been a week and I didn't post. You need to have everything prepared and scheduled for you to be able to improve your content always.
Yes. Okay. So I plan my content around around my pillars, essentially. Like, this is what I actually think. Two things I want to point out there. To me, you have to have an opinion. You have to have a point of view. You can't just be like, oh, business is good, but like have an opinion on how it should happen. And the second thing I would say is like, if you want to get bigger, don't only create content for the people who already know you. Like, I saw somebody recently who has a branding agency and they were posting like, hire me for this, hire me for that. But I'm like, they don't know who you are. They don't have examples of your work. They don't know what's your opinion on branding.
Exactly. If they're talking about this, they're going to be creating awareness about them as a brand for a branding company, so that they create this power for themselves and brand perception that is making businesses who are real potential customers to want to go to them, because they're very well perceived by the public and people in the industry as well.
Mm-hmm. So you, like, as a professional, are an expert in making people be seen a certain way, creating the story, in a variety of ways, also PR, which I'm going to ask about in a second. But I'm just going to tell you some of the objections I get when I'm like, your social media should be better. One is they're like, I don't want to sell that way. Like, I'd rather sell by selling to people I know through my network,
Then don't sell. I mean, if you're not comfortable, don't do it, but keep consistent talking about content that can be interesting to your audience, and it helps in an indirect way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's think about your social media accounts as your business card now, yeah? Because people check it the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not comfortable, and it will come with time, but if you're not comfortable right now to have this call to action for people to buy your product or services, then don't do it. Actually, you need to be very minimalist about it when you do it. Even if you want to do it through social media, it's not preferable to be in people's face, you know?
Yeah, but you have to be consistent.
You need to be consistent for sure, and you need to utilize social media. Like, we have tons of examples of people who are talking about the industries they're working in, and because they've created this repertoire on social media, and they had more followers following them for what they're saying, for the added value they're creating as content, their businesses flew already, and they didn't sell anything through their content, but they created this personal branding for themselves and accordingly to their businesses.
Yeah. Okay, objection number 2 that I hear all the time. I'm afraid of what people are going to think about me, because people judge people on social media.
It's really hard. I mean, I do understand this very much, because it is really hard. But you have your choice. I mean, you have this free tool that you can be using with this objection. Mm-hmm. So you either take it and you fly with your business, or you have a budget to market it in other tools. Maybe get someone to be the face of the brand. Maybe get a celebrity, get a model to be the face of the brand. Maybe hire a content creator to do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're all options, and it's perfectly fine to think it's hard. I'm afraid from how people are gonna look at me in this content. So you have all the ways, and you got to choose.
Listen, they can judge me when I'm rich. Like, I think my thing, you said the most important thing. There's a free tool that almost every single human on the world is in. Like, I'm like, get over it. Because you said the most important word, it's a tool. Like, if you came to me and you were like, in business, you know, I don't really like accounting. I don't like the way it makes me feel to know like profit and loss. I'd be like, I don't, do you want to have a business? So like, it is imperative, and there's ways to do it comfortably. Of course, I'm being a little bit, but I think that it's important. It is a free tool. And then, okay, other things that people say all the time, people just be like, I don't like it. Like, I don't prefer social media, and I don't like all the things happening on there, what people are posting. I don't like it, so I don't want to do it.
Okay, let me tell you something about this. The good thing about social media is that there is this thing called algorithm. So you're going to attract what you're seeing on social media what you engage with on social media, and what you're talking about on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So the good thing is that you can be in this thing with your algorithm, surrounded by what you like to see,
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by what you're talking about. And then, I mean, there are ways to control what you don't want to see anyway.
Yeah, I think what I would say about that is I actually think it's healthier to start to think about it as a tool for your business and not to engage personally so much. You've seen my social media. When I look at it on my laptop, I actually block the posts. And like one thing I did is I renamed it like tool for your business in my phone. So if you're like, here's a tool that will help you grow your business, I stop thinking about my feelings and I stop thinking about it personally. That's something I could still work on. I think we have to be careful with it because it's addictive, but I think we have to shift that. So here's the last thing that people say to me, just to get your opinion. They'll be like, I posted once and nobody bought from me.
And nobody?
Bought anything, paid for me. Nobody did anything. Or I post like once every 6 weeks. Nobody's buying.
Okay, let's settle on something. It's not magic, right? It's something that you build over time, and you better start today than next year. Then so you need to be conscious of this learning curve that you need to go through to be able to determine what's being perceived by your audience in a good way and an engaging way. And when you look on many content creators who are now like over the sky, you can scroll down, like really down, and find their earliest videos.
Yeah.
And it's just, surprising and shocking how bad it was. But you know what I like and appreciate with these people? That they're leaving these videos because they appreciate their process of learning. They appreciate how they started their first video like this, and now they're posting this quality.
Yeah.
The quality in terms of content, in terms of shooting, in terms of editing, in terms of the messaging that you're doing, in terms of how interesting it is and how different it is from the clutter on social media. All these aspects can be much better with time. So you better start today and maybe consult an expert, maybe talk to someone, maybe take the opinion of people around you. Sure. But I mean, if you start today, it's gonna be definitely better in 6 months and better in 1 year.
Yeah. You'll see your business change. I guarantee it if you're consistent. I always say whatever you do now, negative, positive, or neutral, you'll see the effect of in 90 days. So in 3 months, you'll start seeing something happen.
And better than not having anything anyway. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk about really quickly before we go into like bigger brand strategy is like some basics of what not to do. So like, here's just personal branding, social media. Instagram obviously is the biggest focus a lot of the time, but like overarching, like what's just some things people can start looking for that's like, that's not good? I'll say mine second, but you tell me what's not good.
Okay. Each platform has best practices.
Of course.
Okay. That's one thing, and we can be digging deeper later because it has to do with when to post, what to post, what's the format, and all this. What are the tags, what are the hashtags if it's needed for this platform. But there are basics that you need to start with. You need to be aware what's your profile picture look like. Is your bio descriptive enough or not? Is it telling all about you in the best way possible and shorter way possible and most interesting way possible or not, with the right keywords or not? And when you look on the profile, does it communicate the main messages that you want to communicate through this profile or not? Because some people like post, like the problem is in the opposite now. Some people are posting more than they should, so their main messages dilute.
Yeah.
Are you pinning the right posts or not with the right messages?
Yeah. So give me some specifics. Don't overpost.
100%.
What else? Like what makes it look bad? If you're just like, that's not it.
Posting in bad quality.
Bad quality.
Not using the best practices for the length of the captions depending on the platform. Not having a proper profile picture. And having this weird description about yourself, because there are many of them.
Yeah, like don't make it weird. Don't make it like too cutesy where nobody can figure out what you're talking about. Here's mine. And then we can talk about what I did that wasn't good. And sometimes I'm still doing. But here's mine is if you're choosing to use social media for your business, you need to be careful about over communicating about your personal life.
100%.
Like, you see it, I talk about my life. Today I posted, it's the weekend, I posted about going to yoga, But I'm having daily problems. I'm having personal things happen. I don't post about them because everything that I'm putting out, like the personal things that I'm posting, are part of my brand. And I'm choosing for social media to be part of my business. 2 is like oversharing. Like it's too personal. It's too deep. It's like people are worried about you.
I'll tell you something with this, because this is a very popular case. When people start having their Instagram, and initially it was their personal Instagram account, but then life takes them in some direction, and it turns out to be their professional Instagram account. At this point, you need to, because some people like to share their personal stuff on Instagram, right? And it's perfectly fine, or it's debatable, but anyway.
If you're trying to sell something, not everything's okay.
No, if you're trying to sell something, this is what I'm saying. If you're trying to sell something, then the account needs to be 100% talking about your business or your industry or branded content, generic. And then you create another account that has your 100, 200, 300, 400, whatever friends, and it's a private account for you to share your personal stuff.
And within what I'm sharing about my business, I can be like sharing some personal things that are sort of like I have a brand about business. I also travel. Traveling is a freedom I got from my business. So I'm very intentionally talking about it because it's something people aspire to and I can help them do.
If it has something to do with your business or what you want to communicate with your audience, then do it.
Yeah.
But if it's like your niece's birthday, that's another thing. Like posting your personal Instagram, you know? So you need to separate, and it's perfectly fine, because I'm telling you, it's very popular. Keep it for the business, and all the stuff that is related to what you want to communicate on your business account, like what you're saying, traveling, how you're reflecting this on your content because of your business and all this, and then have another one to the person.
I want to make an argument for the niece's birthday party. If part of your brand is like attracting people to people like you, people with families, you can talk about it, but maybe not have 18 stories about it. Yeah.
Also, like, you get with the time what your audience can be accepting from you and what they turn their head from.
Yeah.
So, like in your case, if you know that your audience like would accept this from you and they actually like it and they think it's part of you and what you're communicating with them, then it's fine, you know. And you can know this from the analysis. You always need to be analyzing like the full insights of your content, what's doing good, what's not doing good, etc.
Yeah, you're saying something really important that I'm going to come back to, which is use your data. But just really quickly, any other things that you see that you're like, oh, don't do that?
How about the normal stuff that I think are already obvious, like don't like your own posts, don't like be selective with who you follow back.
I don't think people know this. Don't follow everyone back.
Not everyone. Yeah. Not everyone.
Be selective. Don't like you see accounts and it's like follows 20,000 followed by 1,000. 2 is don't like your own posts.
Of course.
You taught me that. I was doing it. And sometimes it's good content. And then here's my thing. Also, like, don't confuse the brand, because sometimes I'll see like inappropriate content. Like, whatever you're doing in your life is whatever you're doing in your life, but like be choosy about what gets through the filter. Okay, so what was I doing wrong?
Okay. You weren't fully aware of like the quality of your content in terms of like the technical quality.
Video quality.
How good the video quality is.
The captions on it.
Yeah, but I mean, no, especially because like this is such a simple thing that affects the algorithm very much, and it limits the reach of your content. Like, you need to be posting content that is in good quality, if it's a photo or if it's a video, to start with. Like this is fundamentals for this.
And we will tell you if you're working with us specifically how to do that.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Other things, as I told you, be aware of the best practice for the caption. How should I write the caption on Instagram versus Facebook versus LinkedIn, etc. What else you weren't doing well? Maybe being too specific sometimes. Like if you're talking about this event that is targeting very specific people, and actually it's very limited to certain clientele, and it's a very important event, but it's not relevant to most of your audience, then you shouldn't be like posting a post about it. Maybe
Stories.
a story, you know?
Use my email marketing, use my text marketing, whatever.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's very important and you need to communicate about it, right? But you need to select what can be a story, what can be a post, what can be a story that I need to add to my highlights, what's not, etc.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about one thing, and then I want to talk about like what we're going to do, sort of upper level stuff. So the first thing is use the data. You should constantly, one thing, like I'll post something and then I'll talk to you, or we're talking about my Instagram, and you'll be like, oh yeah, this many people liked your post, this, like you're looking at the data more than I am. We should be always looking at the data because it's telling us a story about what's working.
100%. And you might be surprised of what can be engaging and what cannot be. Sometimes you're expecting this post or reel to fly and it doesn't. And the opposite is right. So analyzing the data makes you closer to what should be done. And then it gets better and better with the learning curve.
Yeah. So something that you've been doing with your clients is taking somebody, say in an industry, and you're creating podcasts or content that's not about that industry. So how is that useful in social media? I mean, not in social media, in brand development.
Brand development, and it's reflected on social media because it's the medium, 100%. And like nowadays, this is the thing, because like all brands are talking about themselves. All brands are doing TV ads and billboards outdoors and all this. But because every brand does this, it's very cluttered. The medium is very cluttered. So brands have been going to this recently new trend, I mean, like for 10 years or something, starting using branded content to create this engaging content that builds a bond between them and their audience without directly selling anything. But all what they want to do to be top of mind when a consumer think about this industry, to be connected to their potential clientele, even if they're not potential right now. So that's why all what I was telling you about creating this content that is engaging to a wider audience, this can be done by branded content. For example, if someone has this authorized dealer for watches or selling watches on his e-commerce platform, what is he doing on his social media? He's not saying go buy from this e-commerce. He's not saying this. He's reviewing watches, even if it's not on his e-commerce platform. But he created this medium for himself where he attracts watch enthusiasts.
Yeah.
So, and they're totally separated. He utilized that in different forms, like articles that are relevant to everyone who likes watches, but helps in his SEO, videos that he's linking to his website, but he doesn't talk directly about it, etc. Yeah. So branded content is crucial, and the real edge of branded content that it can be done and produced on any level of the business. If it's a business that started today, or if it's a multi-million-dollar business, they all can be generating branded content that can attract potential audience / potential clients.
I think the thing that is so important about that is also that people in your audience have gotten pickier. Like it used to be a sales funnel, right? Like we get this many people to know who we are. We have our Pepsi billboard, and then somebody's thirsty and then they buy the drink. And now people are like, well, what do they think? What are they doing with their money? What are the ethics of that company? And then they're watching a TikTok where somebody likes Coke better, or there's green cola, or whatever's happening. So we have to constantly sort of be thinking about the relationship of people who haven't bought from me, have bought from me, and used to buy from me, and constantly be like nurturing that and content that's not directly buy from me, but is like me doing articles, me doing TV shows, me just talking about who I am, talking about my values, starts to magnetize people to me.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what are your closing words on this? How do people start? Because I think people hear things like that and they're like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then life starts happening and they're running a business and they've got their kids and da-da-da-da-da. Why is it important? And then what should people do now?
Some businesses can be doing really good offline, but they're losing all this potential that can multiply their business value and sales because they're not utilizing this free tool of social media to their benefit of building their own brand as personal branding and their business brand. So definitely you need to be always thinking about how to utilize this free tool that you already have to make my business fly.
Yeah. Amazing. And if they need help,
100%, we're here.
Yeah. So Karim, thank you. That's amazing. But you and I are offering together a live course where people are going to get walked through how to do this and some of these specifics, like go to this place and turn this on and then use this hashtags. Why should people do it?
First of all, to accelerate, like everyone needs to start today anyway, but sometimes it's better to use guidance of people who have done it before to accelerate this learning curve and start feeling results sooner than expected.
Yeah. And I think to me, it's like, if you want to go faster, do it from somebody who's done it, like I was just saying, and like do it in a group and do it with guidance. And especially because it's going to be the beginning of the year, if you want to set yourself up for success, it's great. It's an affordable investment. And if you do the things, it'll at least 10x itself.
100%.
Go team.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. Thank you.